Welcome to the show where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show. If you don't know, it's part of the show. Didn't they teach you to reach for the stars while opening up the bars and keeping you chained down with mortgage bills and cars? Vaccines for your arms, kids sounding like supercharged, caffeinated hate-filled scars and rage-quit repertoires. No answers for yards, caught up in emotion that's not even yours. Imposter truths like impeccable retards, lined up for your serving of Gish Galloping wars. No remedy can save the lost, in love with the yarn. I'm tired of walking into refracted shards, poor science displayed by disgusting bards. Soaked in sin with your dupe is delight in a new hand of cards. Been so long, seems like for love I'm just too hard, I'm just too hard, that's it. Welcome to the show where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show. If you don't know, you don't know. Intoxicated 8 makes you believe you're spinning in space while you have no shame or grace. It's a disdainful state I used to contemplate, how to save myself from my own self-hate. Wonder why I was even made with a dreadful fate, forced to try and awake with a full plate. No one to help me stay awake or educate. I've had to liberate and fight through hidden gates. But my brother, heaven could never be late, and rockets don't work in space. It's all fake, the show is on Mars. It's a joke, but you're too far gone, it won't be long. Fepe's beak is strong. We have our song and we march along like streams of knowledge leading to God's holy pond, and lives of truth that hits the bong and sings the song, turns mankind from the wrong. We come in peace with a holy gown, and all of us wearing our holy crowns. Said the earth is flat and we probably just won't get along, just to go along. I said, welcome to the show where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show. If you don't know, you don't know.
Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are doing fine. First of all, some mic check. I wanted to see if you guys can hear me well and clear. A shout out to everyone here. I'm going to say Victor Lima. Shout out, brother. Eli, Salvatore Papadillo. Great to see you all guys here. Aaron Horse. Yeah, great song, man. We're going to be talking about the whole world is a stage. Mike, Nick, hey. All right, let me display these messages here. Thank you, Corey. Thank you so much for the compliments. Thank you so much. We try, brother. We try. You know, I believe the Word of God brings a lot of insight and intelligence for the mind. Whistleblower, RIP. A lot of good people here today. Guyana Spice. Hello, Guyana Spice. So, great American patriot. Yeah, April 8th. I don't know what's going on. South Carolina in the house. Great to see you guys here. Really great. Yeah, great song. I will link uh, the guy, the singer. A beautiful song. I heard so many times this week. I mean, it's really nice. Okay, Visionary Vet, all of you guys, thank you so much for being here today. Uh, we might or might not, I don't know if Russian Vids will stop by. Uh, we were planning to have a show together, but I don't know. He is in California, Bay Area, San Francisco. So I don't know, but who knows? Yes, Adele. Yeah, first Adam. Hello. Shout out to all of you guys. So I want to start with this. Let me share my screen real quick. Since the whole world is a stage, you see the difference between what the Bible says and what the heliocentric model says. The Bible says that God's throne is central reference point. It's above the pole star, which I'm facing south. North is right here, my back, and I can see I can see Polaris at night since I live in Japan, so we can see Polaris from here. But in the heliocentric model, Sun is central reference point, and where is God in this? Where is God? They go to space. I think it was uh, the first Russian cosmonaut, Yuri Gagarin, when he went to space. He said, "Where is God? I can't see God here." Mocking. He was mocking, of course. The Bible says Earth has edges, ends, and face. The Antarctic Circle is the boundaries of the oceans that surrounds, the flat Earth. But on the heliocentric model, Earth has no edges, no ends, or face. It's totally the opposite. Uh, the Bible describes a solid firmament, rakia, sealed environment. There is no, we have a pressure here. No, I demonstrate. I need to buy a can of paint because the can of paint, if it stands still for too long, all the different chemical elements will. The heavier one's going to go to the bottom, and then the lighter one's lighter, and we still have some compressed air to allow you to spray. So since Earth is still, that's why we have this uh, atmospheric gradient. Well, the Glober says the heavier particles of the atmosphere, which is more fluid down here, and then it's going to slowly, but we still have, to the top, we have uh, the emptiness, right? So the can of paint we have to shake, that's why there is a marble inside. Have to shake to mix, all the particles, and then we can paint. All right. So Earth is still. That's why we have all these the heavier particles below. Right? It shows that Earth is still. It doesn't move. Right. That's why we have this so-called pressure gradient because the heavier one, but it's still contained. Right. It's not like someone can just go to space. So that's the opposite. So no solid firmament, not seal. It's just a ball flying through space, and Earth in water, surrounded by water. Yeah, the opening song, there is a Bible verse in 2 Peter 3:5 says the earth is out of the water and in the water, something like that. And but in the heliocentric model, Earth not surrounded by water, surrounded by nothing, vacuum. God's throne and kingdom location revealed above the firmament. As I told you again, the Polaris, the pole stars right being my back. Above it's the throne of God. We have those lights, the northern lights, which it's like the same lights as the Bible. This let me remove this. Okay, now you can see better. Uh, so the northern lights is the same color as describing in Revelation about the throne of God, but does not compute. There's heliocentric model makes no sense. Bible says Earth is fixed in place, immovable. Heliocentric model constantly moving in every direction, four different directions. I'm gonna show you guys this today. I think I can show you real quick here. So I'm planning to have, I don't know, I'll talk about this in a couple minutes right here. Okay. So this is the heliocentric model. We're going four directions at the same time. Um, on x-axis, 1,040 miles per hour. Number two, Earth travels around the Sun at 67,000 miles per hour. Number three, the Sun travels through space at 444 8,000 miles per hour. Number four, right now the Milky Way is traveling, racing through space at 1.4 million per hour. Right now, while I'm live streaming, the heliocentric model tells us that Earth is going in four different directions at the same time. You know, it's completely crazy. Sun moves Earth stationary, and on the heliocentric model, Sun is stationary, Earth moves. All right, completely the opposite. The Bible says the luminaries inside and under Earth's firmament, and the heliocentric models, the luminaries billions of light years outside of Earth in space somewhere. And the Bible literally says Earth is a disk, flat circle on pillars, while the heliocentric model says Earth is a sphere in a void of space. So the whole world is a stage. We live in a simulated reality. Like the simulation that I mean is like a virtual reality. Everything is on the books, on TVs to program us to believe the opposite of what the Bible says. So the whole world is a stage. This is what I mean. And that was a perfect opening song. All right, so guys, we're here today to talk a little bit more about this coming eclipse. Now, I did not gather a lot of things during the week. I had a crazy week. I wasn't feeling really well this week. I had a good day. The next day, I was, you guys know that I have low blood pressure, and I think my body reacts by pumping faster, and I had some palpitations. So for 2 or 3 days this week, I felt terrible. But I feel okay today, so I decided let's go, let's do it, let's have this show. So a couple more things that I want to start with. Let me go ahead and display these pictures here. So Dominic, and I apologize, Dominic, because I just had a Dominic here this week, and it was a boy. His mother brought him here, and she was interested in enrolling him in our language school. And the boy's name is Dominic. So I'm sorry because I thought Dominic was a guy, but it's a woman. So I shout out to you, Dominic. And I have your pictures here from the last um, eclipse. So let's go ahead and display them. Okay. So these are Dominic's. She's in Texas, if I'm not wrong. And she took some pictures there during the eclipse and from top to bottom, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, these are her pictures from the last eclipse, October 14th. And these are her pictures she sent to me. Okay, the heliocentric model. I mean, Earth, uh, the sun moves from east to west, but this is an eclipse where the object that's blocking the sun is going from top, like from northwest to southwest. So if you remember, I played a video by John Levy last week talking about those orbs, and that's probably because the eclipse. Now, guys, I live here in Asia, as you know. Some of you know, some of you don't. I'm originally from Brazil, but I'm married to a Japanese woman, so I live here in Japan. And I was listening to this Chinese guy describing the eclipse according to Chinese traditional and ancient cosmology. They say the moon is being eaten, right? The moon is being eaten, or the sun is being eaten. Like something is eating up the sun or the moon during eclipses, So it's not like one is blocking the others. It's a third body. Something is blocking the sun, but they refer to the moon or the sun as being eaten, like a cookie. When you bite a cookie and it has this shape here. So that's how he described eclipses, according to traditional Chinese cosmology. So great pictures, Dominic. Shout out to you. And I think that's a reflection in the firmament, it can be. It's the same thing of those two suns. People have videos. Oh, there are two suns in the sky. No, I believe it's a reflection. I did this show a whole bunch. I display a whole bunch of videos and explain how that thing works. And this is the path for the next eclipse now. According to the Baoer, which they believe the moon rotates at the same direction as the Earth from west to east. Now it's a very strange movement for the moon for this sun because it's not only the moon, the sun would have to go like in a zigzag, and I actually questioned this guy on the week. He's an anti-flat earther, and he posted this video and said, okay, now explain how the sun is going from southwest to northwest on the globe, in 4 hours. They say this is a tilting, but this takes 3 months to happen slowly. But you have this movement going on in 4 hours. So I asked him to explain how I would like to see a real-time animation because according to them, the sun is fixed, right? And the earth is spinning and traveling around the sun. But how does this movement happens in 4 hours? Okay, it's not just the moon. Remember, if this is path of totality, both of them have to be doing the same movement. So I would love to see this animation uh, done, like in how we say, like in scale, like maybe tiny Earth, and they show this movement how it's happening because they show only this trace here, but I really would like to see how that works on the board with the really like the sun, how this Earth does this movement in 4 hours, tilting and wobbling in just 4 hours. Really weird. All right, so Dominic, shout out here your picture. I downloaded them. I have compared both. This is the August 21st, 2017, the first eclipse that crossed from northwest to southwest. Also, extremely weird if you see the animation on the board. And this is this eclipse now, April 8th, 2024, on the flat Earth. A lot of people ask me, can you uh, like display the path of the eclipse on the distance map or planet map, and here it is. And as I said to you guys, I believe the sun does not do a perfect circle. I think it's more like an oval, ellipsoid. Some people call it ellipsoid or something. So this is why it's possible to have this path. And of course, we don't know exactly what and where the sun is, and all we can do is stay down here, observe the flatness of the waters, and the earth does not move. All we need to know the earth is flat is this, observe the water, the flatness, and you know the sky is really difficult to decipher. So let me go back here real quick. Let's check, see if okay. All right, guys. So let me go to the chat real quick. I don't know if Nibiru, I don't know. Nibiru can be one. All right, this is my take on these orbs, right? If you remember, I can play. Hey, Mike Smith, shout out. I'm going to display your video. Just give me a second, okay? Your star. So this is my take, all right? Those orbs are black. These are the black things that the orbs are non-shining uh, elements in the sky that cause the eclipses. And this is what I think it is, like a film. I don't know, something like a negative film that goes in front of the sun. It's invisible for us to see, if only when it passes in front of one of the luminaries that it blocks the light. So when mainstream science says, "Oh, this star will be swallowed by a black hole," this constellation will be swallowed by a black hole. It's just one of those orbs passing in front of that star, of the black hole, or the constellations. Okay, but just imagine this being much, really much smaller than what science tells us. Like one star is 100 times bigger than the Earth. Just say like each star measures. If the moon or the sun measures around 50 miles, let's say, the size of them, and a star is really tiny compared. Let's say that a star is 10% or 5% of a size of maybe each star measures a mile or 2 miles the most. That's my idea, which makes sense. All of them falling on the earth according to the Bible. All the stars will fall on the firmament. They gotta be much smaller to fit all on this flat earth. I So let me go ahead and display this video here. He's been sending me messages asking me to show his Sirius star. So let me go to his YouTube channel, and he does some cool stuff as far as uh, lights and stuff like that. Let me see, full screen. Mm, Hold on, let me share the screen first. I forgot. All right, this is Mike Smith's footage on Sirius. This thing here. All right, this is Mikey, whatever. He's from Canada, and this is his footage of a star called Sirius, and he has also Betelgeuse. He's got a couple others. Extremely interesting footage. Shows us that the stars are close, and when one of those black orbs goes in front of some of those stars and they say, "Oh, this star is being swallowed by a black hole." It's just temporarily, just goes in front of it, and then we will see those stars again. So there you have it, Mike Smith. That's your footage right there. Sirius star frequency call you confirmed. That's your footage, and I will link. I'll paste your YouTube channel on the chat if you guys want to check it out. He's got some more stars, and he had some cool laser lights. He had some very powerful laser direct to the moon, and it's interesting because when you point those lasers on the unlit side of the moon, you can actually see the lights on that part. It's really interesting. Sorry, guys. So I was gonna buy one of those. I thought about buying, but they're expensive, about $160. Those lasers, just for me to have one or two, because like my P900, I bought it, and at the beginning I used a lot. Now I haven't used at all. Probably it's been there for a year. Not doing much filming lately. It's just too cold. Winter here is long. We it's starting to get better, but it's still cold. I have the air conditioner, I mean the heater on, jackets if you go outside, it's really cold. So winters here are long. But that's your display, Mac Smith. So shout out to you. Okay, good job. And I'm gonna go ahead and paste his website, his YouTube channel on the chat, and you guys can check it out. You're welcome, brother Mike. YouTube channel. Okay, so he's got plenty of star footage and those lasers pointed to the moon. Now, I've used his stuff before, and I have given him credit. I have used them on the TikTok compilations, all that stuff. Yeah, it's a great idea. So I was telling you guys about. So perhaps, don't know. I have been communicating with a globe believing pilot. He's an Emirates Boeing 747 pilot. He sent me a couple messages and I put them all together, and it totaled to 7 pages long in Word format document. 7 pages. That's a lot to stop. And I am actually replying. I have, pasted, made a PDF of this, and next week will be interesting because I'm going to be replying live. Okay, I'm gonna make a separate video. I'm gonna upload to my channel, but I'll be replying live this email here. I'm gonna be reading his points. Okay, extremely qualified. I don't know what to say. He's got a lot of training and all that stuff. Interesting. But it all comes down to what you believe. Guys, everything comes down to what you believe, okay? And this is the very beginning of my video, actually, when that I'm putting up, okay? Share here because this is exactly the beginning of the video that I'm working on. It all comes down to what you believe. It all comes down to so he believes the Earth is traveling through space, so everything he's gonna work, he's gonna defend his idea, he's gonna bring arguments, which he did on his letter. So it's 7 pages long, and I have prepared actually the response. It's gonna be extremely exciting. Now I'm gonna be inviting him live if he wants to come on the show and talk about his email, his message to me. Let's see. He can, I'll see if he is up to. He lives in Dubai now. I think he retired from Emirates, or he's still flying for Emirates. I don't know. And it all comes down to what you believe. And he has no proof that Earth is really traveling around the sun. He cannot and will not describe what gravity is, where is gravity, and if he wants to come on the show. Now, both pilots, the one that I had before, the globe pilot I had before, and this one, they started off saying, "Oh no, I'm friendly, I'm a nice guy, just want to talk with you," and I have to take them at their words. But the other guy, the first pilot I had here, he started off like that, I'm a nice guy, I just want to talk to you about this stuff, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, come on the show, let's talk live. And then he wasn't like that, he was connected to my Toon, and he wanted to have a link so Toon could also broadcast the live streaming. And then once he was on his channel, he could just go over and make money because he can monetize his channel. I cannot, right? And make money off of it, and talk about it and use the footage. And besides coming along with a whole bunch of anti-flat earthers, and he was communicating with them while talking to me. And I am what you guys see. I don't have anybody. I live here way out of, I don't do meetups here, you guys there. Don't talk to anybody while I'm doing my shows, unless you send a message here in the chat. And those guys, they communicate. You can see, Fight the Flat Earth, he's communicating with somebody. Same thing in Brazil. I saw a couple of debates there, and the guys are, debating on the phone, So it's like a team, and I'm by myself. I don't communicate with anybody. If he wants to come along and defend his points, but I will go over his email live here next week. I plan to. I hope everything goes all right. We make plans, but the answer answers come from the Lord, so we don't know what's going to happen next weekend. But I plan to have another live stream where I will go over this guy's email point by point. I'm gonna be reading the email and uh, talking about and showing how he might be wrong on that stuff. It'll be interesting. I don't know if he's a nice guy for real, but it all comes down to what you believe. And if he believes the heliocentric model, if he believes the sun is 93 million miles away, it's a ball of fire in space, and the Earth is traveling around the sun, like I just displayed here. Let me go back, see if I find real quick. Uh, no, it's right here. This one. Okay, if that's what he believes, that he's flying an airplane while, you know, that's he's flying upside down, going from Australia to South America on a system, on a cosmology system, which claims Earth is going four different directions at the same time, at speeds of, that's crazy, like 1.4 million miles per hour, 448,000 miles in another direction, 67,000 miles in another direction. Okay, that's all. It all comes down to what you believe, and that's what he believes. And let's see if he can prove that stuff. That's the thing. Believe is one thing. Like I believe in the Lord, believe in God. Can I show like proof? Okay, I can demonstrate things that lead me to believe there is a God. But let's see what's going to happen. But I plan to be replying to this stuff next week. Uh, okay, so warp speed. Yeah, you guys are talking about Trump, and it's pretty crazy, guys, because I don't know how much we can trust any. Actually, we cannot trust those politicians at all, and they all work, together. It's sad. So you guys know I'm from Brazil, and we have Bolsonaro there. He's like a Trump. It's a Brazilian version of Trump. A lot of conservatives love him, Christian people. But recently, I saw a picture of him. Was in his office, and somebody found a small statue of Baphomet on his he has a bookshelf behind him, a huge one. Somebody found and zoomed in, and he has a picture of Baphomet there. And then you go back, you see all his nominations. He nominated a whole bunch of, not a whole bunch, but a couple for very specific strategic positions. They were all 33rd degrees. So we cannot trust any of those politicians. They don't work for us. They don't do anything for us. They serve their masters, and their master is the prince of this world. All right, upstate New York, Frank, shout out. Mary Can, much love back. Anna Rammer, okay, shout out to you guys here. Um, so that's the thing about politicians, you cannot really, yeah, MAGA, I don't know. This can mean so many things, but definitely these politicians, they don't get to the top without, just look at what the Bible says. All of those things I'll give it to you if you worship me. Like the devil tempted the Lord Jesus, and those people are tempted all the time. Somebody There's a channel on TikTok, and he posts those videos where celebrities do, oh, I signed a pact with this, I sold my soul to that. A lot of them, all for because they want to, power and all that stuff, and that's what they do. So, talking about the Eclipse, I have a video here. Shout out to Hillbilly EDU, education department. All the universities they end with EDU. The one that I attended in the US ended with EDU and still does. So this guy Hillbilly EDU, that's his channel. He uploaded a very interesting uh, video. So I'm gonna play part of it, maybe not all because it's 8 minutes long, and it's right here. So he filmed part of the eclipse as well. So let's go ahead and watch this video here.
The truth is hidden in the details or omissions and obfuscations. When they show you things like this rotation of the bite on the disk of the sun, and they never talk about it. They go into Bailey's beads or balls, diamond ring effect, or if you look at it before totality, you'll damage your eyes. But they will never, ever talk about why it rotates. They show it to you and move on. Anything that doesn't correlate to their well-crafted lie, they just omit it. So in those anomalies is where you find the truth. And you notice how the path goes from west to east. Yes, some of them go in a northerly or southerly direction, but always from the west to the east. And that's what real science is, repeatable observations. Because here, P1, P2, P3, the history of where all these heliocentric lies come from. It's part of the Counter-Reformation. They couldn't burn out all the people that tried to print the Bible, folks, and they couldn't jail up everyone that was reading it. So the Jesuits and the Catholic Church said, okay, we'll disprove it. And think of, in this last part here, Curveball Earth Mockumentary, I go over two factors, the horizontal lunar eclipse and the fact that around the edge of the flat Earth, or down here on the underside of the ball, the South Pole, if you will, the eclipse paths move east to west, not west to east like they do everywhere else. But when you search, they won't tell you that. Just like they won't talk about when they show you the this part here, when NASA shows you your cartoon and the rotation of the bite on the disk of the sun, they won't tell you why that is. So with this last part, I just want to go back over it and put a bow on top for all the heliosexuals that are out of the closet and still trying to say, but Hillbilly, you're wrong. So what I've been trying to lead up to for the viewer from this point on, by exposing all these fallacies in our model, is to give people that are coming to the light of the truth, if you will, that the Bible is real and our model is false. When you use real, repeatable observations to prove it, you can take and analyze all the lies or omissions that belie their model, like I've gone into in all these parts. And I'm going to wrap it up in a bow right here at the start in this last piece. If you'll type into Google, why do solar eclipse paths move west to east? And you step down here to find your so-called trusted sources, space.com and NASA. NASA states Earth rotates eastward on its axis, which means the moon, sun, and stars appear to move from east to west across the sky. The moon orbits Earth in the same direction as our planet rotates, eastward, but the moon's movement along its orbit is small compared to the Earth's daily rotation, making it difficult to notice the moon's eastward motion. However, during a solar eclipse, it is easier to observe this motion as the moon crosses in front of the sun from west to east, that only near the edge of the flat earth realm where we really live do those eclipse paths move east to west. That wouldn't be, folks, if we were on a ball. They would go in the same direction they do at the North Pole or the center of the plane and all other parts in between. That's not what we see. Now, space.com says, after centuries of serious work, people realize the Earth does indeed spin in the motion, and the motion of the sun, moon, and stars is only apparent. But when it comes to solar eclipses, we're faced with a new incongruity. See, truth is always congruent, not incongruent. Anyhow, why does the path of the solar eclipse start in the west and end in the east? Here's where their craftiness comes in. The answer is simple, but it's not something we're accustomed to thinking about. Clever mathematicians. Remember, Tesla said they wander off through equations after equations until eventually they build a model that has nothing to do with reality. So knowing how these nassholes, as I call them, love to hide the truth that would belie their model, I wanted to dig into it a little deeper. And look what I discovered here. Do you see when it starts, they've got the latitude and longitude? I go over here and look here. You see where I'm at? 76, 137. And we come down here, 82, 148. 82 and 148. See where we're going? Look at this, people. This one here, this path is going east to west. Opposite of what they all do, right? But since that continent isn't really there, it's the edge of the flat earth, we should see some things that they don't want us to see. Anomaly. Look at this, 60, 42, 41, at 708. Right there. That's where she starts. 76, 46. 76, 46, right there. That's a 734. $73, 133. Right there. Down here at the bottom of the ball Earth. Doesn't correlate to any other path near the middle or the top. North Pole. Those the realm where you really live. Look. Starts out 71 south, 74 east. That's the greatest duration. That's what that GD means. Look at that. 71, 74. Now, greatest eclipse happens at 71 south, 22 west. 71, 22 at 1930. Now you know why, Holster X, they don't model this at scale. It breaks down because it's wrong. It doesn't work. That's why you'll never see a full-scale model, only cartoons. You can't do a FOIA request on cartoons. There's no information to be had there.
All right, a lot of good information. He goes in details with a couple of the last couple of eclipses, and Definitely, the way they model on the globe, they show those just the tiny animation. They didn't show the whole thing how it works. And I would love to see. I asked this globe believe and say, well, can you really show how is the Earth tilting in 4 hours doing this tilt, like allowing the sun and the moon go from southwest to northwest on this April 8th eclipse. They won't do it. They won't do it. They display just the ball and the shadow on the ball, but the way they do in the heliocentric model, I would like to see, but they don't do it. Abraço. Yeah, big hug, brother. Água não mente. The water doesn't lie. It's always flat. Okay. Thank you, Água não mente. It says the water doesn't lie. The Jesuits lie and the secret societies lie, but water doesn't lie. It's there. That's a witness that we live on a stationary plane, and that's what it is. A lot of people I see here in the chat. A lot of people from New York State, big state. I spent a lot of years in New York City. I've been watching a couple of videos. People say you got to get out of the city. You got to get out of the city soon. And yeah, I think we need to. I don't live in a big city. Nagoya is the third largest city in Japan. I'm about 20 minutes. I'm in the suburbs. That's what we would say. Uh, but it's still, like let me highlight this here because we were talking about politicians, and this is an important comment from Yashadel. When it comes to Trump, remember two things: Space Force and Operation Warp Speed. Does this reveal anything to you? Yeah. So it's still, like if things get bad here, I don't know. It is all the whole thing about power outage. Don't know if it's going to be just in the US or in the nations where they are trying to reduce the population, and Brazil is one of them. Even Bolsonaro, this I saw this video actually. He's stating like, just go to the beach in Rio de Janeiro and see how many people. So it just like, it's like we need to reduce the population. Let me see if I find a picture here. Copacabana Beach full of people. And he was, yeah. This is like a regular day. I'm gonna share the screen just a second. Let me find the right picture here. Because when I was a kid in Rio, I'm from São Paulo. It's a neighboring state, but I went to Rio, and in the 80s, 70s, late 70s and 80s, they had full blown like topless, So it was normal for us to see this stuff in Brazil when I was a kid, and just like the way it is. So let me pause this. So I'm not showing anything like that here. I checked first. So here, so Bolsonaro would say, there's just too many people, you know, like, is this like the planning to reduce the population there too, you know? So that's why we cannot trust these people, They're saying, oh, heck, look at try to go to, he said something like this, try to go to the beach in Rio on Sunday. You have nowhere to lie, lay down your beach towel, lie down. He was saying exactly like that. And this is a hint like, well, what does he mean with that? Soon that was right when the pandemic was, happening. A lot of people were dying. It was like, what does he want to say? What does he mean? So that's why we cannot really uh, trust these guys because they are not on our side. You know. Sorry, guys. I got a little bit of a cough this week. The weather is just crazy. You know. Cheers, Brian. Cheers to all of you guys. So let me go back to that pilot. Okay, let me just display a couple of things here that I have in mind. I don't want to say a lot because this is for next week, but this is something that always come up. Like just had a guy this weekend. They all repeat the same thing. Oh, just like Professor Dave. Oh, when you throw a coin inside a train, and then you throw up a coin, it falls to your hand. Or but you are contained. You're traveling inside a train, a bus, or an airplane. Everything's contained. So I asked the guy back. Okay, so do you think Earth is traveling through space inside the pressurized airplane, like in this case here? You know, pretty crazy things, they claim. So I created this art here to display to this guy and say, well, this what you think it's happening right now, like you're traveling through space. Um, Earth is traveling through space inside a giant airplane or a giant train, and that's why we don't feel. Because in reality, the reality is totally the opposite. Look at this thing here. Mm, This is a guy trying a pilot. uh, he's trying to uh, do something. Don't know what kind of stunt he was planning to do. He wasn't able to. So can he throw a ball now and fall in his lap or in his hand? You know, and can he, like this pilot? He gave me, oh, if you're inside an airplane, you throw a ball to inside the cockpit. It will go over there. Can this guy throw a ball and fall on the lap of the guy, the pilot in front of him? So he can't. This is what we are supposed going through, because see here, this is Earth and the sky. So you will see the stars, the sun, the moon. If I go outside, I get wet. You can't compare this to being inside a train or inside an airplane. So he gave up on whatever stunt he was planning to do. He gave up because it's just impossible. And this is not like he's flying 800 miles per hour, like we just had a flight recently at five, eight, reached at 800 miles per hour. Actually, I do have a video here of another one. Let me see if I actually have uploaded. I don't think I did upload that one, but I'll have it ready for next week. It's just like an airplane reaching 800 miles per hour speed. I'll go ahead and upload this stuff right now. I do have it here. I'll upload and then I'll play. So, guys, oh, there's another thing that I want to talk to you guys. This is really interesting. Let me upload this video. Hope it will. Yeah, it will be all right. Couple minutes, right? So while we do this, while the video is uploading, I want to share uh, two websites here with you guys. Just one. Now, I have had this for several months, and I always wanted to display, and I always end up forgetting. Go over this stuff here. Mystery, mystery, as two U.S. technicians are killed at McMurdo Station, a remote Antarctic scientific base. So the two who had been working on a fire suppression system were found unconscious after a helicopter pilot spotted smoke coming from a building. And let me see if I can just listen to the article. I don't want to listen. Now everything we do, we have to accept here. I don't want to follow. But anyway, two technicians performing maintenance at a U.S. research station in Antarctica died on Wednesday while working on a building house a generator for a nearby radio transmitter. The National Science Foundation, blah blah blah. I don't want to pay. No, I had access to this article before. I read the whole thing, And for some reason now I can't. I don't want to do all that stuff. I don't want to become an episode scribe. But anyway, it tells about these two weird technicians, no mystery. And I actually found a couple more. I think this is the one that they were giving orders to drive a pickup truck. And the thing is, the place where they were, the guy, whoever sent them to that place, knew of the danger, because I think it was like a really steep, um, descent, and the car ended up like that. I don't, this is another one. So something, what's going on there. You know what those two guys, what did they see? What did they heard? They hear. For some reason they were, murdered there. And mystery, nobody, never heard of anything, anybody going, there to investigate what happened. But yeah, when I read the article, they were saying about I don't know how this guy, I think a woman also died the same way. Guys, somebody gave me the idea of, I recently showed this, I made this uh, meme back, and somebody said, "Oh, this would look great on a t-shirt." So I just released on my store. Okay, if you guys want to support the channel, and it's a great way of supporting the channel by getting one of those things. I have long sleeves, I have short sleeves, I have front or back. Okay, I have different colors, and of course, I got all the other stuff. Planisphere Star Wheel. I have Amelia Earhart flight route on the flat Earth. You just go here to where Walmart, and then you have a whole bunch of maps. All the Antarctic Treaty and the areas where you cannot go. Okay, and not all the stations, because there are like 59 stations, but a couple of them. And go back to Walmart. You have more maps there. You have European orientation Gleason's map, which has Australia on this side. This is our orientation in the Americas. Now in Asia, here in Japan, they have Australia here on the bottom. Have the Orlando Ferguson map. I have the Mapa Urbano Monte. I have the air map, school up air. I have the R age map. I have the, what's his name? Abzaid map. Okay, Abzaid map. And the traditional ones, block. Okay, so it's a way for you guys to support this channel by getting one of those maps. So let's look at this flight here reaching 800 miles per hour.
So with a 260 mile per hour westerly in the jet stream, you had a tailwind that was pushing the airplane at a ground speed, and this is a record, as I understand it, of 865 miles per hour. People in the plane wouldn't have known any different, but from New York to London, that particular KLM flight only took 4 hours and 56 minutes.
With a speed of around 400 kilometers or 250 miles an hour, the aircraft thus attained a speed approaching 1,200 kilometers or 745 miles an hour, close to that of the sound barrier. There was no danger, however, concerning air friction on the fuselage, since the plane was flying with the wind, not against it.
Alright, so it's pretty easy to explain. The Globers say, oh, an airplane cannot reach speed of sound, without having any damage to the fuselage. But actually, you're going along with the wind. There is no friction because you're just being carried. It adds the speed of the airplane with the speed of the winds, so it both goes in one direction. So I normally illustrate this as when you guys travel, you go to airports. There's those long walkways. I'm so happy we have here in Tokyo. And because from one concourse to another is a huge distance. Just get on those, and if you want to walk, it's just like running, because the ground is moving, right? The ground, or I mean, the walkway is going forward. So if you just stand there, you get to the other side at a same speed as if you were walking, because I see people walking when I'm standing there, and we go the same speed. I don't walk, but if I decide to walk, it's just like I'm running, and I'm not running. So there's no friction, there's no stress, my body. I'm just going faster because I'm also carried along with the speed of that walkway. So add two speeds together to make me fast. So that's the same thing when those airplanes get on those jet streams, it adds one speed to the other. So that's why it's possible to reach speeds of up to 900 miles per hour, because they are being carried along, adding to the speed to the airplane. Right. So I have a whole video broken down. So you just go to my channel, and I have a recent one about the jet streams. Okay. So I have a nice compilations there right here. The truth. Oops. Let me share the screen. I thought I was sharing the screen. Share the screen real quick. So right here, the truth about the jet streams. I got another recent video here showing documents where they, since 1962, they have documented the winds going at a speed of 300 knots. All right. So 300 knots equals to 400, 500 kilometers, something like that. So, it's huge. The speed is like, let me see here. I think I have it. I don't know where it is. Okay, right here. So the speed of 300 knots winds from this region equals to 555 kilometers, 345 miles. So imagine the airplane is coming from Sydney to Santiago at, let's say, 600 miles per hour. You add 345 miles per hour. So you fly 900 miles per hour at least. All right. Let's say that you fly for 7 hours. That's already 7,000 miles. So then you have another 5 extra hours to get here, because a flight from Sydney to Santiago, 12 hours. That's what they say. Sometimes takes longer. Or they can go this way here. Both ways, you add about 300 miles per hour on the flight. So guys, you just heard it, the lady explaining how this. So I have a couple more videos, and this one is interesting here. I'll be talking about this as well. So let's see, I'm going to be replying live to the pilot next week. Not live, I'm going to be replying to his message, his mail. And let's go from there. Let's see what's going to happen, and I will invite him to come along the show and, defend his stance that the Earth is traveling around the sun at a speed of 66,666 miles per hour. Pretty, weird number. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and just run a quick ad here to my store. Okay, the 3 minutes break here. So let's watch Rampage Jackson.
96. It's a big boy. So I got two big guests, big names, big bodies.
Huge.
Yeah, I don't even know if I introduce you to. You got Rampage the Legend Jackson here. You got Bradley. Meet me at 260. Martin.
How much you weigh right now?
Why people care if people believe in the earth the way the Bible describes it? Why do people get so mad about that?
Does the Bible describe it as flat?
Yeah.
It does?
With the dome, the firmament, and everything.
Oh, that's news to me.
That's new. You never read the Bible?
No.
That's the problem.
That is a problem. That's why I go to hell.
So why do people get mad at people if they just describe the earth the way the oldest history book describes it?
Yeah. So does this mean you think it's flat?
Yep.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
But what were you gonna say about?
This is what changed me when I looked into emergency landings. Something simple as that. That's what changed me to go more to like, oh yeah. Then I went to the Bible and started reading with the Bible. I used to be a Christian, so I was like, oh, I've read this stuff before, but we think of it different. I went there. Now I look at the Old Testament like a history book, and so I went and read it and like a history book. I was like, oh, okay, it broke everything down for me. But if you look into whenever you have time, just look into emergency landings.
What do you mean by emergency landing?
Like when say somebody's flying from Asia coming to LA,
yeah, they have to
and like if it's an emergency or something,
yeah.
and then see like the way they land, and then you gonna think like wow, that's not an emergency land. They went all the way out the way, and then you got to break down why did they do that? Why they go all the way out the way, and they say it's an emergency landing. That's what changed my mind.
Why would they go all the way?
Exactly. That's the point.
Exactly.
But why would that prove that the Earth is flat if you go out of the way?
Because if it was an emergency, a real emergency, wouldn't you go somewhere closer?
When you go somewhere closer?
And not somewhere out of the way?
When we see the emergency landing on the globe, it don't make sense.
Oh, because it's like this.
Yeah, so it's
like
farther it's farther away.
Yeah.
So common sense would tell me that we're being lied to about the geography of our things.
Why lie to us about the Earth being round, though?
That's the big question.
Don't waste any more time. Visit the links above now and order my book, 16 Emergency Landings Proving Flat Earth. Visit my online store now and order the new enhanced Gleason's Flat Earth map. This map used to be in every school and library in the nation before NASA was created in 1958, when the maps were ordered removed. Have your Gleason's map hanging on the wall in your house where no government can take it down. Here you see it hanging on a wall in the house of the late Charles K. Johnson. Here is a quote from the book 1984 by George Orwell. Every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book rewritten, every picture has been repainted, every statue and street building has been renamed, every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Order your map now.
All right, guys, just make sure have your map so the government won't come and get it out. They can't do that yet, perhaps sometime, but not yet. So, hello, shout out to Aloha from Hawaii. He's in the house, okay? Was here a couple of days ago. Aloha. Now, Vika has been doing lots of show lately. I've seen him also, that's great, the word is getting popular, and a lot of people are interested in flat Earth. A lot of people. Yeah, Guyana, we are neighbors in South America. That's right, we are neighbors there. So great to have you here. South America in the house, right? It's nice. It's really nice to have all these people from all over the plane. All right, let me see here. So, a couple more things we have for today. So I should display the maps here. Let me see one more thing here. Yeah. So, guys, if you guys remember a couple of shows ago, I described it like how the heliocentric model is nothing but a way they use to conquer more lands and the people subjugate them to Rome. Okay, it's not about science. It was about conquering these people, deem them like stupid, and by inverting and showing all this stuff. So it's all about control. It's not about truth. It's about control. So this guy, he was interviewed. Was during the pandemic, and you can have that exactly to the whole cosmology and the heliocentric model, because they say, flat earthers don't like science, all of this stuff. But this science they offer is the falsely so-called science that the Bible has it. It's all about controlling our minds, That's why we live, just like in the beginning, we played that song, Welcome to the Show, because we live in a, simulated reality. The whole thing is a simulation. But listen to what this guy has to say here.
Truth was never the highest priority of human society. It was the highest priority of some individuals, but never of society as a whole, because society as a whole does not function on the basis of truth. And let's think about science and the scientific community. I think that none of them has truth as their chief value. I think the chief value of science is power, and science is mainly about gaining power over the world. They use truth to some extent on the way to achieving power, but this is not their highest value.
Say more a bit about power. What do you mean?
I think science as an institution is interested in gaining the power, to gain control over the world. It all comes down to money in many cases. In order to have an institution, if you're a freelance scientist, you just explore the truth, okay. But as an institution, at the university, you need money to finance. So you submit a research grant, and you have to convince the authority not of the truth. You have to convince the authorities that what you want to do will somehow make us more powerful, will somehow enable us to produce a new weapon. And this is really what gets the money. I mean, the first breakthrough scientific discipline that launched the scientific revolution, according to my understanding, was geography. It was all these sailors and all these explorers leaving Europe in the 14th and 15th century, and in the 15th and 16th century, and exploring the world and mapping it. This is the first big scientific project to map the world. I mean, people often speak about astronomy and, Copernicus and Galileo and so forth, but this was really a side issue. The big thing was geography and was exploring the world. This is where the big money went to. And the reason the big money went there is because the kings of Spain and Portugal and France and so forth, and the bankers in Genoa and Venice, they thought that mapping the world was the first step to conquering it.
All right, guys. So this is the science they spread all over the world. Is you really submit or you die. So many examples I have. If you guys have been watching my videos, China. Look at what happened to China. They rejected the heliocentric model in the 1700s, and they rejected. And then what happened to them? All the Jesuits and the Freemasons, they provoked wars. They provoked all the division, and China was destroyed from all those wars. So finally, in 1903, it's quite recent, they had to adopt the heliocentric model. 1903, that's when they did. In Japan, same thing. They didn't want anything to do with the Jesuits. They expelled them from here. So what happened in 1865? They came back with guns, ships. Commodore Perry bombed 2 cities here in Japan, right, to get in here. Once they got it, what did they do? The first thing was to go to temples, the Buddhist temples, and destroy the physical flat earth model they had on display. All the temples, not like one temple, no, all the temples here had the physical flat earth model, and they destroyed them. There are only 5 that survived, and they are still being kept away today, And so this is what's going on. It's all about power and domination. It's nothing about science and truth. It's all about domination. So the heliocentric model is dominating the mind. And once you are caged in this system, you think, oh, there's nothing more to explore. There's no truth. The science is everything, evolution, all that stuff, Darwinism. And that's what it is, right? And as I agree, this guy who was talking, he is, let's say that he's not a Gentile. So there is a lot of things there, because my idea, if you go to the book of Acts, when the Lord and God directed the apostle to go to the Gentiles, you know, and the other guys, they were jealous and they tried to, uh, there's a word for that, to sabotage the whole thing, you know, and they still do that today. You know, that's a way for us not to get to know the true creator and his son. You know, it's a spiritual war. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a spiritual war, and that's what's going on. All right, guys. So let me see what else we have today. It was, interesting. So I don't have a lot of things about the eclipse anymore, but next week I don't know. I might still bring some stuff, but I'm gonna dedicate next week just to reply. So the whole thing I'm gonna be reading this pilot's email and comment and reply and show examples live while I read. And at some points, a lot. It all comes down to what you believe. If you believe in a powerful creator who created the whole world in 6 days and rested on the seventh, and the sun was created, the sun, the moon, and the stars were created on the fourth day. If you believe all those things, you're not far from seeing what's going on. But if you don't believe, yeah, you will find some excuses and to support the heliocentric model, even though he says he has a personal relationship with God. I don't know which God he talks about, but definitely I don't think it's the God of the Bible. Because as we saw here, I'm gonna finish the show displaying this stuff again because this is really, 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 really powerful. Let me share my screen one more time. This thing here, so what the Bible says and what the heliocentric model says. According to the Bible, God's throne is central reference point. And according to heliocentric model, sun is central reference point. According to the Bible, Earth has edges, ends, and face. And according to the heliocentric model, Earth has no edges, no ends, or face. According to the Bible, there is a solid firmament, the rakia. We are under a sealed environment. According to the heliocentric model, no solid firmament, not sealed. You can go to space and come back as you will, Earth, according to the Bible, Earth in water, surrounded by water. And according to the heliocentric, Earth not surrounded by water. It's surrounded by nothing. We are in a vacuum, the vacuum of space. According to the Bible, God's throne and kingdom location revealed above the firmament, not far from there. According to the heliocentric model, does not compute. The Yuri Gagarin, the Russian cosmonaut, when he went to space, he mocked the Bible and God, saying, "Oh, I can't see God from here." According to the Bible, Earth is fixed in place, immovable. As we can see, it's a beautiful day, sunny day outside, calm and still on this fixed and motionless Earth. But according to the heliocentric model, we are going 4 different speeds at the same time. And, doesn't make sense. According to the Bible, the sun moves, Earth is stationary. Now, this is really important, and that is that passage, I believe is in Isaiah, book of Isaiah, where the sun went back 10 degrees, Now, if the sun went forward 10 degrees, the king wouldn't be surprised because that's the direction of the sun. It goes from east to west. So he asked the sun to go back 10 degrees, the shadow. All right, that's right there. If you don't believe that stuff, don't think that you believe in the God of the Bible. You believe in another God. Sun moves, Earth stationary according to the heliocentric model. Sun is stationary, Earth moves. Bible says the luminaries inside and under Earth's firmament, according to the heliocentric model. Luminaries are billions of light years outside of Earth, light years away. According to the Bible literally says Earth is a disk. Not a disk, but, we don't know what's under. flat circle on pillars. But according to the heliocentric model, Earth is a sphere in a void, in the voidness of space. So this is the difference. These are the major difference between both models. I'm going to take a look at the chat here before we close. We've been on for 1 hour, 23 minutes. Appreciate all of you guys being here. Yeah, I'm going to be re-uploading that video again. I've been just thinking about that because the whole heliocentric model derives from science fiction books written in the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th century. Really interesting. And I'm going to be re-uploaded because it's buried, in the YouTube. Is sometimes very hard to find. So I'm going to re-upload. So I think that's going to be, pretty much going to be wrapping up now. So let me see. So I think, let me see if I play what song I will play. I still have one more video to play, but I'll leave it for next week. I told you guys before, GPS really means ground positioning system. It comes from GP, like when you get a GP from studying celestial navigation, GP means the geographical position or ground position, more like geographical position. So they just add the S, GPS, okay? And they change it from geographical to global. But it really means geographical because the geographical point of a star, that's the GP of a star. You measure the, astrolabe, right, or the quadrant, the position of a star, the sextant, and there is a GP. The Earth is flat. You have to consider Earth as being flat in celestial navigation. So each star has a GP. So we'll be talking about the stuff next week as I reply to this email. So tune in next week, guys. It'll be an interesting show, hopefully. So I'm gonna close now. 1 hour, 25 minutes of show. Thanks so much. Support the channel. Visit my store. Become a PayPal Patreon if you want. I only have 4 Patreons. My goal is 20 Patreons, which is a modest number. And I would appreciate if anybody would like to become a Patreon. And so turn on this week, and I'll have great stuff and a lot of videos every day, putting out TikTok compilations, my own work, So I'm gonna close the live stream with shout outs to Dave Karam. He's got a new song out. So that's all for today, guys. Thank you so very much. God bless each and every one of you. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Wonderful, magical, celestial light, fantastical, mystical, wonderful sight. Belgian Swiss physicist Auguste Piccard, 1931, first to reach for the stars, was the first to explore the air view stratospherius, a scientist curious to see what was there. An aluminium black ball on a helium balloon, with photos and instruments, sailed towards the moon, rose in just half an hour, 52,000 feet, 10 miles up, 10 temperature, up a dead drop in heat and cold, but disproving gravity. Wonderful, mystical, beautiful sight, flat line separation of black from blue light, a world run by deceivers, false make-believers, hiding in shadows, stealing our light. Mystical, fluorescent light, wonderful, magical, pass intelligently there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us. No more you deceive us, we see through you like air. Kipper and Picard were the first ever known to reach up there. Divine luminescent light, mystical, wonderful, celestial light. So what was their eternal testimony? What did they report back to humanity? Said it seemed like a flat disk far as eyes can see, with an upturned edge fading into infinity. A mystical, ethereal, celestial sight, a divine creation, a clockwork of light, designed hid by deceivers and false make-believers, still cowering in shadows, still fearing our light. Here we go, higher than Everest, higher than airplanes, above zero cumulus, higher than air. A level horizon, 360 around us, no motion beneath us, no spinning, no stars on the firmament, turn along around us to forever, so time and geometrically there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, forever beneath us, we see through you like air. Mystics on a luminous light, fantastical, magical, bright, we see through you like air. Magical angels of light, beautiful, wonderful, celestial light. The first to see truth when they reach for the stars, explorers and physicists, Kipper and Picard. Never you'll defeat us, forever beneath us, we see through you like air.